Alright, so let me tell the story of how I was assaulted at work by one of my coworkers. So I'm gonna do this more vlog style or more like how I do my podcast, where I'm just gonna hit record and talk, try and tell the story and explain both the situation and how it connects to the videos I have been making on both Instagram and TikTok, from the stitch of replying to a guy's video talking about the difference between justified killing and murder, and how I was saying I don't think you can ever truly justify murder, because that's the whole point of the justice system, is that if something happens, the justice system should be able to take care of it, right? But I got a comment of somebody asking if I had ever gotten assaulted in my own home. So, I haven't been assaulted in my own home, but in the last video I was talking about how I have experienced trauma in my own home because of family arguments and a whole bunch of other shit. But I have been assaulted, just not my own home, but at work. Another place where you wouldn't think that you would be assaulted, especially not by a coworker, right? Ideally, hopefully. I understand that bad things happen, but that's why we have come up with the system, to hopefully figure it out and we don't have to turn to vigilantism, which I thought was vigilantism, but that's a different thing. That's besides the point. I can go into that later. But so, getting into how I was assaulted at work, it takes a bit of background, so I have to explain the context a little bit. But I worked with this guy that was a few years younger than me. I'm 23 and he was still in high school, probably like his last year or two. And he was a football guy, so we were around the same height. He was a little bit shorter than me, but he was bigger than I was. So sometimes I would see him, actually, a decent amount of the time, I would see him walking down the aisle in the back of the store, because we have like a back section with inventory and stuff. And I would see him and I would do this, like make myself look big. Ironically, because I know that I am not a big guy and he is more muscular and jacked, so I was kind of trying to, I guess it could be perceived as make myself look bigger, but I'm not the type of person that cares about being big. It was a joke. It's more like, oh, big man, hey, like pointing out the fact that he has muscles, and I realize that, right? So, getting to one day on lunch, I was sitting there eating my food on my phone, and the guy comes up to the break room, and he was saying like, oh, there's no cups for water, and he was probably complaining about it. And I was like, oh, okay, no worries, I'll get you a cup from my locker, because I had a pack of cups, because I know sometimes they run out and I wanted to get water, right? So I went and got him a paper cup, and I went back to sit down to eat my lunch, and do whatever. If you wanted to talk, okay. He goes to fill up the cup with water, comes back and he drinks it, and then he starts picking the cup apart and throwing it at me. And I'm going, okay, what the hell, man? Like, I gave you the cup. You could save it and reuse it. Why do you have to break it apart and throw it at me while I'm eating my lunch, right? And mind you, while this is happening, there are two managers sitting at a table right next to us, okay? So he's picking this cup apart and throwing it at me, and I get to the point where I'm like, hey man, can you stop? Can you not do that? I'm trying to eat my food and go back to work. And he keeps doing it, so I get up and I come over and I'm gonna take the cup from him. And he gets up and he puts me in a headlock. So obviously, I'm kind of flustered, but my first instinct is to give him a good shot in the ribs with my elbow, and I actually held back, okay? Partly because there's two managers there, and it's like, okay, why am I gonna get into a fight with a coworker in front of managers on my fucking lunch break? But also because I was thinking, like, why am I even in this situation? What am I going to escalate it? Am I gonna make it worse? Or am I just gonna be like, okay, well, this isn't where I want to be, but hopefully it'll be over in a second, and hopefully he'll just let go and be like, oh, I got you, whatever. But it was like, he not only did he do that, which was wrong, but he also held it for longer than he should have, and I don't know what the fuck the point of it was, like, to look big, to look cool in front of the managers, like, okay. So the managers are just watching, nobody says anything. He lets me go, and I'm pissed off. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even say anything. I think I just looked at him. I'm like, or no, I probably said, like, get the fuck off me, or let go of me, or something. And then I looked at him, like, what the fuck is your problem? Packed my food up, put it back in my locker, and then went back to work. I didn't even, like, I wasn't wanting to eat anything. I was just like, okay, well, that was my lunch break fucking ruined, so I guess I'll go back to work and chuck some boxes to let off some steam, right? And then the managers came and talked to me, and he came to apologize, probably because the managers talked to him and were like, what the fuck are you doing? Um, so he apologized to me, okay, whatever. But it's partly the fact that I was put into a situation where I was assaulted in a place where I didn't think I would be. I didn't really defend myself or fight back, partly because of the environment, partly because of, like, what am I going to escalate the situation? Sure, I could have defended myself. I wish I did hit him with one or two in the ribs. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, this is my coworker. We're on the same team. We're in the same, like, we're doing the same thing. Why are we fighting? Why are we arguing or disagreeing, right? That doesn't make sense to me. And then why do I need to hurt another version of myself? Because we are all the same. We're all made of water. We are the universe experiencing itself, right? That being said, I think trauma and stress induced by events is a whole nother thing, right? I think after that, I did have ASD, which is acute stress disorder, right? It's like for the few weeks after, like the 2 months after an event, when you have those like similar to PTSD kind of feelings, but then they kind of go away or dissolve over time, right? And then I also looked into PTSD and complex PTSD, which happens after the event and they last longer and it's different effects and stuff, right? I am editing that video right now and it's going to go up on YouTube. So if you want to see that, definitely check out my channel at aqua.ofs, same as on here, and subscribe so you don't miss more of the videos that I post in the future, right? But that being said, I understand, like, yeah, that was a shitty situation that I was put into. I could have defended myself. I didn't. I made a decision. You can't coulda, shoulda, woulda. Now I just go on living in the present, right? And I also don't really hold resentment for him because it was such a childish thing to do. It's like, okay, well, it put me in an uncomfortable situation, but it is what it is. I wish him the best and I hope he matures and grows up or, gets some karma for what he did because that is kind of like the universe's justice system, right? But then we also have the justice system, which ideally, if we, the people, actually enforced and made it work properly, similarly to the government made of the people for the people, then it should work fundamentally differently, right? Considering I look into pathocracy and fascism, where small groups of people with narcissistic and psychopathic traits control the majority of the people, it makes sense to say that these systems don't work properly because the people in power are the people who don't care about the people under them. They just care about the control and the power. So I do agree that we need to look at the systems objectively and kind of refigure them or we definitely need to fix the system in place, but we also need to look at other people with empathy and understanding. I think we need to look at the world from a more egalitarian, pacifist point of view, you know, trying to enact true communism or socialism where it's actually made of the people for the people and we're caring about each other, not the systems of power or control or who has the most money or whatever. Like, there are so many fundamental objective things that need to change about the world, but I think it could start with philosophy, empathy, love, etc., right?